Today on Experts Showcase, we go behind the episode with Karyn Beach, who talks about go on and get it together.
And welcome to another episode of Behind the Episode of Expert Showcase. Way too many episode words in there. And as you know by now, we've got our awesome guest and our, you were just okay today, Mark. I mean,
I work with what I got. I work with what I got.
Yeah, it was the control room's fault, right? It was the leverage.
It's always the control room's fault.
Exactly. No, we have an incredible interviewer, Dr. Mark Kosman, and an awesome guest, Karyn Beach. As you all know, we like to have a lot of fun. We just got done recording an incredible interview, and if you want to get it together, you'll hear more about that on this, and we're going to roll the tape later on. But so I don't drone on and babble on forever and a day, Mark, why don't you go ahead and give, especially for the new viewers, because Mark, the guy on the black chair is back, and the woman on the purple couch, but we have guy in a tan recliner. So for the guy in the tan recliner.
Hey, guy in the tan recliner. Welcome to the show.
Give them kind of an overview of what they can expect here with Behind the Episode.
So here's how this works, Karyn, is that you and I are going to have a little bit of a chat about your background, how you became the get it together person. We're going to talk a little bit about your coaching practice and how you develop that, and how you actually get people to find you and connect with you, since that's what's of interest to a lot of our viewers. And while we're doing that, Chris is going to be taking some notes that the audience can see on screen, so they can keep them honest to make sure. We just hear clicking. We're not quite sure what Chris is really doing. He could be working on his book. He could be working on his Twitter followers. We don't really know, you and I, Karyn. But the audience can keep them honest because they can see it on screen. But what he's really doing is taking notes about our conversation. We're then going to flip it over to him. He's going to give us some feedback, some ways that he sees how these things are clicking together that could help with your marketing or spur some ideas for the audience's work at getting themselves found and getting visibility, building credibility, all that good stuff. Sound good to you?
Sounds great to me.
All right, well, let's dive right in. So, Karyn, talk to me about Get It Together. How did you become focused on the niche that you're focused on? How did you develop your expertise? What's your background here?
My background is life.
The school of life.
I've lived in a ton of places, and I've amassed a brain full of useless information. And I actually used that to win some money on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Are you serious? I did not know this.
And so what I did with that is I did two major things with that money. I bought and furnished my house, and I got my coaching certification, because for over a decade I'd worked in the field of training and development. And a lot of what you do in training and development is convince people that they need to learn what you have to teach. Mm-hmm. And you get tired of being in the bathroom before class and hear people say, I can't believe I got to go to this class. And you're kind of in the bathroom going, I'm here.
I can hear you.
So I figured the one thing that everybody wants to know more about is themselves. And so by by becoming a coach, I could help people get to know the one thing that they want to know more about. And so when I got my coaching certification, I realized that it wasn't a lot of big things that kept people from reaching their goals. It's a lot of small things. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much how Get It Together Girl was born. Because I started a blog, and I still blog twice a week. But I ended up doing a workbook. I'm a Virgo, super kind of organized. And I took that, and I used a lot of things that I do. And I made a book about getting organized and reducing clutter in 15 minutes a day. And that became my first Get It Together Girl workbook. And so my workbooks are designed to help people get something small out of the way. If you get your house organized, and it's called a 28-day guide to practical, not perfect, home organization. Because when you watch TV shows and people have these immaculate houses, that's the set designer. That's not how people actually live. So I want perfect. I don't want perfect. I want practical. Your level of organization, not your sister's, not your mother's, not your mother-in-law's. So
especially not your mother-in-law's, right?
Especially not your mother-in-law. Although I don't have a mother-in-law yet. So that's something we can talk about.
We can put a plug in for the fact that, you know, if there are any eligible bachelors out there, Karyn would like to hear from you. She is on the marketplace. She won't be there for long. Better hurry up.
Not from your mouth to God's ears.
Well, all right, if you want to date God, I mean, that seems a bit, you know, like you're reaching there, Karyn, but okay, I mean.
You know, and my dad told me, he said, you better learn how to cook or else no man will want you. So that's the joke in the family. It's like, I can cook anything. I can make risotto, salmon au croûte.
You're gonna make me hungry now.
Collard greens. I do it all, but yet I just have a dog. So.
Well, we're working on that. The word is out there now, Karyn. The word is out there. So people are on notice, you know. And if there are any eligible young ladies out there, Chris is in the same boat here. So you know, we'll make this into the dating show here. You know,
I didn't know where you were going with the lady thing.
No, not for you, Karyn.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just not my thing.
It's not your thing, I understand, but you know, it is Chris's thing. So, you know, if you hit the apply button on Expert Showcase, you never know what might happen. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So back to you, Karyn. So you evolved this focus, you know, and you've got some great stuff. People are going to see your episode in just a couple of minutes here. I really recommend everyone to hang out. You know, we're going to finish our behind the episode, then get to the episode so you can see Karyn. She has a great way of getting you started. I love what you said before. You know, your observation that it's really a lot of little things. But you know, people are going to see in our conversation too that part of it is that people are looking for big things, and they need your help to understand that they need to focus on those little things, because that's where they get the traction, right? That's where they start getting things done, get into motion, is by tackling things in smaller chunks, smaller pieces. That's great.
It's
now,
small but consistent.
Right. So small but consistent, relevant, you know, moving you forward. Yep.
Consistently, you will see a difference.
Karyn, talk to me a little bit about who you focus on, because you obviously your title of your workbook series is Get It Together Girl. I'm assuming that you have a focused market that you're looking at. Who is your ideal client in the work that you do?
My ideal client is a busy professional woman. A woman who has a lot of balls in the air, but also has something that she's not addressing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be a book she wants to write. It could be weight she wants to lose. It could be wanting to sing in the church choir, but there's something going on that is not getting her attention because everything else is. And so what I try to help people do through my workbooks, through my coaching, through my Blog Talk Radio show, is to address those little things, because just like it's little things that make a difference, a lot of time you don't need a lot of time. You don't need a lot of money to pursue the things that you want for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to, number one, give yourself permission to pursue what you want, and number two, carve out some time. Doesn't have to be a lot of time, but carve out a little time to pursue the things that matter to you.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So, and now you mentioned Blog Talk Radio, so let's talk a little bit about how you try to reach that audience. So you've got a clear focus on who your ideal client is. You know who this person is. You know what their lifestyle is like. You have that in your mind. Now, how do they find you? You know, how do they know about your show? How do they get connected to your Blog Talk Radio show? How do they find your workbooks? What are you doing to promote your business?
I've got a Facebook fan page with almost 1,000 followers on it. I also use the Blog Talk Radio platform because in interviewing guests, I can get on other people's shows.
Go figure.
Your show now,
can you really do that? Does that work?
But I get a lot of guests from a place called Radio Guest List. And I also took out an ad on Radio Guest List to promote myself as an expert. And routinely every month I do 2 or 3 shows from people from other radio producers that find me through Radio Guest List and invite me on their shows as well. So I use Radio Guest List. I use Twitter. I need to use Twitter more. I'm kind of using Twitter. I post motivational content, and I actually had a woman on my show that helps business owners grow their businesses. And one of the things she said that I'm starting to do now is that even on your professional page, you need to focus on personal content so that people get to know you, because people do, it's about relationships.
Sure.
Coaching is about relationships. So getting on there and posting information so that people get to know you. I cook, so maybe I post some recipes. I also do photography, so posting some of my pictures and letting people get to know me. I just did a post today on my Facebook page called Life of a Super Extrovert. And I put, I said I am that woman. I am that woman who chats up everybody in line at the grocery store.
Karyn, I was going to say, it's really a shame that you have so little personality. That's probably what's holding you back in life, right? Is that you're just shy. It's hard. It's been very hard to kind of get you to talk about the things that you care about. You have almost no passion about what you do. I mean,
but it does not work in my favor in corporate America.
Well, probably not. I mean, because you probably are not easily contained by a cubicle. I have that sense about you.
Stop talking. Stop telling stupid jokes. Why are you dancing? Every day.
They didn't like that in corporate America, huh? Go figure.
No, they don't.
Karyn, obviously, we could talk about this forever. You're doing lots of great stuff. We talk a lot about the fact that there are these 3 key cornerstones. You got to get your visibility going. You got to get your credibility. You got to start building yourself as an authority. You're doing all of those things, from what I can hear. So that's great. So I'm going to flip it over to Chris, and maybe he can flesh that out a little bit and give us some feedback about what he's hearing, so that we don't just kind of go on forever, because we will. I think we like to talk. I don't know.
You think?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Chris, save us from ourselves.
Okay, I will stop tweeting and Facebooking and doing all the other stuff, and actually pretend I was listening. No, it's as the folks at home.
Karyn, could you repeat everything you said for Chris, because he wasn't listening? So let's just start. Okay, from the top.
Yeah.
Thank you for being honest. No, all right, come on.
Now, first of all, great episode, both behind the episode and the episode that everybody's about to see. I highly recommend everybody sticking around and watching Karyn's episode. We're going to roll that tape in a little while. I'm smiling from ear to ear, partially because, Mark, when we started this show, and I'm going to completely digress here for a second. When we started this show, I knew we were going to have interesting guests, but I did not realize that not only were we going to have a nuclear physicist turned coach, a divorce mediator, a dating coach, a parking lot consultant, but now to top it all off, somebody who won money on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I mean,
that's right. That's right.
This gets better and better. I mean, the level of this is just amazing. I mean, I know I'm gushing and bragging about the show, but it's just people can see the sheer joy in my face at this point, especially the woman on the purple couch. I thought it was pink. It's purple. She's back again. She's finally she went. She got a little bit of she got a glass of wine. She had to step away for a second, get the glass of wine, and now yeah, exactly.
We're having cocktails with Karyn.
Yeah, exactly. So I love this, and one of the things I love the most is what you had said you did with the winnings, and also how you weaved it into your former role as an educator and everything, and going, look, I've got this, what is going to make my life better, and what can I also do to make other people's lives better? So you went and you said, okay, I'm going to take some of this and take care of my house so I have a roof over my head, which tends to become a very important thing. It's been, usually, roof overhead is always a good thing.
It's a good thing.
But then you also looked and said, how can I help? How can I help other people? And not in the way most people do. I mean, let's face it, most people look and say, well, I'm just going to make a donation to a charity. I got these winnings. I'll take 10% and donate to charity. And believe me, I believe in tithing. I think it's great, especially for any faith-based people who are watching. It's great that you want to get. It's great.
I did tithe.
Yeah, and that's great. And I applaud you for that. But you went the next step, because a lot of people who tithe just feel that that's kind of enough, and they say, okay, I'm going to give the money, but I'm not going to do the work. I've known a lot of people to do that, and you looked at it and said, look, I'm going to take my passion, I'm going to take helping people, I'm going to take it to the next level, and I'm going to use some of the blessings that I just got to go out and take a message out to help people get it together. So I think that is awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I picked up a couple things that I would like to key in on. Before I do, I want to ask you a little bit about the content you've already created, because I know you've got workbooks and that sort of thing. And I don't want to, some of the things I point out you might have already done. So give me a real brief overview of the and I'll say, we can all talk at this point. For those of you who don't know, Karyn also hosts a radio show, and that's kind of the joke about why she's on the show, because I was on her show last year, and I reached out to her and said, hey, why don't you come on our show, and now that we've got this up and running. So when I say brief, for the guy in the black recliner, when I say brief, it's specifically because you've got three people who could talk until the cows come home, and we all have to keep it in our heads that, we only got a certain amount of time. So give me a real brief overview of your series, and then I want to bring up a couple of other points.
Okay, the Get It Together Girl Media Empire is comprised of my weekly Blog Talk Radio show. It airs Wednesday nights from 8 till 9, but you can get the archive anytime. I have 3, soon-to-be 4 workbooks on home organization in 15 minutes a day, time management tips, and goal setting. The new book is on saving money saving tips. I also have a blog that's updated every Monday. And every month I do a series. So the series for March is Make Your Own Luck.
Awesome, awesome. So here's a couple things I picked out that I'm sure go through the thread of those, but that I think would be awesome if you could take them and expand on them if you haven't done it already. You might have done it in a series. It's interesting you talk about a series. Before I wrap this up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we do our series. I think it kind of fits right in. But one of the things you said was, it's not the big things that stop people, it's the small things. And I can envision, if that isn't a series already, I can envision you taking that into maybe a 4-part series with some keys to success in each of them, because being a fellow coach and also being somebody who's been stopped by looking at it and going, man, it's going to take 4 hours, and you get into it, takes 15 minutes. So from being on both sides of it, I know that's something people could really, men and women alike, could really use, is to understand, not only understand it's not the big things that's stopping them, it's the small things, but understand how to identify, identify and define those things, and end up recognizing them. So that's one thing. Another thing, I love how you talk about doing small things consistently, and I kind of translate it into doing small things consistently and build momentum. So if you haven't already done it, I think that could be another great series for you, where you end up taking it and really digging into people, because at this point, on the surface, that whole concept of small things consistently and build momentum, it sounds like common sense, but if it was such common sense, everybody would be doing it. Everybody would be doing the small things consistently, and everybody would be building the momentum. So I think you could take that, and by the way, these notes are all on screen, so you can watch this again, so don't feel like you have to write down. If you want to look away to write down, that's fine, but they are all on screen. In fact, the exact title's on screen, so you'll see that when you get the episode. So back to the small things consistently. if people would understand how to do it, how to identify even the small things to start, more people would do it and they would build the momentum. So I think that's another one. Another one would be give yourself permission. And once again, it sounds like such common sense on the surface. There's 3 words: give yourself permission. We all know the definition of give. We all know the definition of yourself, and we all think we know the definition of permission. But if you took that as a title and as an overall core problem and delved it down into 4 milestones to take people from the unbearable, the untenable present to the fantastic future, and then give them 3 keys to success within each, you could show them how to give themselves permission. And the last one I wanted to point out is carve out some time. Once again, it sounds like common sense, just carve out time. But it's another core problem that you could sit there and take people from the untenable present to the fantastic future in 4 milestones and have 3 keys to success within each milestone. And it'd be a great way to create a series based on those topics. Just some suggestions. Part of the reason we talk about the core problem, the milestones, and the 3 keys to success is based on the system that we developed called the 1-4-3 system, which stands for a core problem, 4 milestones taking you from the untenable present to the fantastic future, and 3 keys to success within each milestone. It's a very structured way of doing things. It's a very structured way of doing things to allow you to get your thoughts out, get them out in a very quick and timely manner. Plus, it allows people to assimilate those and actually gain that knowledge very easily. Because Mark's a neuroscientist. I've been studying people forever and a day. And through all the research we've done, plus published research, science has pretty much come up with and said 3 things are the easiest things for, things in blocks of 3 are the easiest things for people to remember. So those are just a few, a few kind of a few tips or a few titles that you might want to work with. So I now have a question for you. You do Blog Talk Radio. You use Facebook. You use Radio Guest List, which is an awesome platform. That's all last year. That's how I got every single one of my interviews. I'm glad. No,
our assistant has showed up.
Our assistant. Believe me, Karyn. Karyn. It's all good because we got 3 cats in my office, and I'm just waiting for one of them to say, "Hey, Daddy, can we jump on screen?" So we've been good so far. So this is awesome. But with everything you're doing, I didn't hear video in there anywhere as part of your overall marketing plan or content creation plan. How does video currently fit in for you today in your current state?
Okay, this I forgot about, and it makes sense that I forgot about it because I always forget about it. I actually have my own YouTube channel.
Oh, good for you.
And it's called, youtube.com, Get It Together Girl. And I have several types of videos that I'm doing. I have one called Life Coaching in the News, where I take a current topic or a celebrity topic and put a life coaching spin on it. Like, for instance, I took the Ray and Janae Lewis, where I think his last name is not Ray Lewis, Ray somebody, but he hit his girlfriend.
Oh, right.
And the football player. So I talked about that, and I talked about it from the standpoint of loving yourself and being in what you're going to tolerate from someone else, and having that clearly defined before you get in a relationship with somebody. I also have another segment called I was just thinking, where I have stuff that just random stuff I think about. I'm going to do one of those probably over the weekend about songs from the 80s that I used to always sing but didn't really realize they were all about sex.
Yeah.
I was in the car the other day jamming to Grace Jones' Pull Up to the Bumper, and I swear to God, I thought that song was about parallel parking. So I have different videos I do there, so that just like we were talking earlier about relationships, that give people a chance to know me with the whom I was just thinking, but also get a chance
to really help you get out of your shell. Yeah.
To see me out of shell.
Yeah.
What's a shell? I'm like a clam that's just dancing, and I don't even know where my shell is.
That is awesome. So before I make the comment about video, yeah, it's funny you mentioned songs that you never really knew what they meant. You know, the most popular song from 1983 was the Police Synchronicity was from the Police Synchronicity 2 album called "Every Breath You Take." And the funny part is that it was the most popular song. Everybody loved it, and a couple of years ago, a psychologist finally came out and said, "Hey, everybody, do you realize it's a stalker song? Do you realize if you listen to the words, it's describing what people do when they stalk somebody?" And everybody went, "Wow!" You know,
but it's a great tune. You know,
how many weddings was that in?
That's one of the things.
Yeah, because it was a good dance song, right? For the wedding party. You know, it's a bad message though, right?
It's a crazy guy that stalked. Since you've gone, I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night, I can only see your face. Dude has some issues.
Yes. Just saying.
Just saying. Awesome. So back to the video, and I'm going to kind of wrap my segment up here and then throw it back up to you and Mark. So what it sounds like is that you've recognized, and all of our coaches should recognize that are watching as well, and consultants. You know what though, Mark? The woman on the purple couch, not her so much. She's fallen out of the video. Oh, wait a minute. See, she's back.
Yep, see, you got her attention back.
Got her attention. She was bored.
Tell her to stop drinking so much wine.
But it's for you know, as a coach or consultant, you need to have video to allow people to get to know, like, and trust you quicker, right, Karyn? Because that's what it all boils down to get people to know, like, and trust you, get people to identify with you in a quick and timely manner so they can use your services.
True, very true. And, you know, you were talking a little bit about using the different suggestions you had for me about, you know, using the the recurring themes of, why can't I talk? Because it's but one of the things that my guest that helps build businesses was talking about is, since I have Facebook, I should start a private Facebook community. Yeah. And one of the things she suggested was charging a small monthly fee to be in it. And I think that would kind of speak to what you were talking to about helping people with those small, consistent steps.
Yeah, that's definitely an option, and it's interesting, Mark, because, you know, I'm watching in my head. I've got the fishing reel because I know I'm about to go way out there, so I'm going to reel myself back in, so that we got much more we can talk about with Karyn. We got much more we should talk about with Karyn. We may just have to have her back as a recurring guest or something. Exactly. So I'm going to kind of reel myself back in and throw it up to you for the ado before the without further ado. we do have to have some kind of respect for the clock, right? Yeah. So go for it, Mark. All right. Well, you know, Karyn, as I said, it's a shame that you have so little personality, that you do so little to promote. Now, I think you're an awesome example of what people should be doing. As I said before, you know, Chris and I talk about the fact that people need visibility. You do an excellent job of that. You've got BlogTalkRadio, you've got Facebook, you've talked about Twitter a little bit. Yeah, you know, a smart lady told me if you just take 15 minutes at a time, Twitter won't be so overwhelming for you. You know, so I think I know that lady, and she's brilliant. I think so too. I think very highly of her. So you're getting, you know, visibility by being on these different platforms, kind of distributing your content broadly. You're developing the depth that we talk about in terms of layering your content, establishing yourself as a credible source of information by showing up week after week with your Blog Talk Radio, with your blog, with the posts you're doing on social media. And you also are a great example of what we talk about in terms of establishing authority in your niche. We always talk about the fact that author is the root word of authority. You know, that when you've written the book in your area of expertise, you have
this position of authority, well, you've written multiple workbooks and things like that that are available. You've got a new one that's in process that you're crowdfunding. All great stuff. So you're just a great example for people to emulate, and keep doing what you're doing. We have to get you out there because you're also incredibly entertaining, as well as being incredibly helpful. So, without any closing thoughts before we throw it back to Chris here?
I like that subtle hint, Mark. She looks like Karyn's closing thoughts are get her a husband. So, Karyn, do you have any? Before I kind of wrap this up, do you have any closing thoughts?
She can cook, So I mean, it's she's a fine catch.
Okay, I would just say last thoughts. The 3 things we talked about in the show. Use the Focus 15. Set your timer and devote 15 minutes to a single task. Not multitasking minutes, people. Focus 15. Number 2, what was number 2?
Well, actually, Karyn, you know what? We're about to show people the episode. You don't have to.
Okay, well then.
We're literally going to show them your episode.
Be a fan of my crowdsourcing, which is at moneyhoney.hubslush.com.
Excellent.
And you'll see the links to that too during the show.
Yes, you will. So, Chris, so that we can get to the show, wrap us up, Chris, and let's get to Karyn's show after you wrap us up here.
Exactly. So first and foremost, you all want to stick around. Everybody, the person in the black chair, brown chair, you purple couch. I'm glad you're back with the purple. We got a mimosa now. She's got a mimosa. It's okay.
It's cocktail hour.
It's like 6:30 when we're recording this, so it's okay.
I'm out of wine.
Yeah, Karyn's
we'll fix that in a minute, Karyn. Yeah. We'll fix that in a minute.
You all want to stick around and watch Karyn's episode. She's going to help you to just go and get it together and at least start you down the path. If you're a coach or consultant and realize that the power of video can help give you the visibility, the credibility, and the authority that you need, and you need to take that small step and start somewhere, then we invite you to apply to be on Expert Showcase as our next featured guest. It was a simple, quick, and easy and painless application process, right, Karyn?
It was.
Excellent.
Not a leading question at all.
Well, she could have said it wasn't.
That's true.
I can tell how honest and open and transparent she is. So there's a big yellow apply button. Coaches and consultants, come on over to expertsshowcase.com. Click that apply button and apply to be our next featured guest on Expert Showcase.
It's fun.
Excellent. It is. And if we feel you're a good fit, we'll get back with you and we'll set up a time and have you on. And finally, if you are a coach or consultant and you know that the power of video and the power of having your own internet talk show is going to give you the visibility you need, it's going to boost your credibility, and it's going to make you the authority in the niche that you've chosen for your business, then you want to head over to VideoContent.Agency. Go to the Services tab, check out the 3 packages we have to offer, pick the one that's right for you, contact us, and let's see if we're a good fit to work together. And if we are, let us help you make you the next internet star and have your own internet talk show. So now, without any further ado, as they say in the old days, Mark, I'm going to roll the tape.
Absolutely. Today on Expert Showcase, we have Karyn Beach, and she wants you to go on and get it together. And Karyn, welcome to Expert Showcase. So glad to have you on as today's expert. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So we're talking about go on and get it together. So give us a quick overview of what we're going to talk about so that our viewers are properly focused on the right topic here.
Well, a lot of times people had come up with reasons why they can't do the things they want to do or the things they feel they need to do. So we're going to talk about some ways to overcome procrastination and get those few steps going.
Excellent. So, and when we were prepping for the show, we generally promise people that we're going to focus on 3 main takeaways. So you and I were talking about the fact that we're going to start off by talking about the Focus 15, and you're going to explain what that is and why it's going to help people end procrastination. Then we're going to talk about starting where you are. And then we're going to talk about the fact that while it's important to have a plan, it's also important to have a plan B. So let's take those from the top, and you can educate me on behalf of our viewers here. I'm the professional subject to be educated by our experts here. So tell me about the Focus 15. You were telling me a little bit about that before we got started, and why is that critical when you're working with your clients to help them get over procrastination?
It's actually a cornerstone of my first workbook, Get It Together Girl, about home organization. And my concept is simple, that anybody can do just about anything for 15 minutes. I can do the elliptical for 15 minutes, so that's saying something. So if you take 15 focused minutes, and by focused minutes, I mean non-multitasking minutes.
You're going to make me put my phone away?
I'm going to make you put your phone away. I'm going to make you turn away from the TV. Mm-hmm. In the half of the time that it takes you to watch a sitcom. That's what we're talking about. And just take 15 minutes. And I encourage my clients to even set a timer. Mm-hmm. Set a timer and devote 15 minutes to a task. See how much cleaning you can get done in 15 minutes. You can start reading. You can write half of a blog in 15 minutes. If you just take 15 minutes, at the end of 15 minutes, one of two things can happen. Either you can say, I've devoted 15 minutes, I'm done, mm-hmm. or you can say, okay, I've got a little momentum going. And a lot of times with procrastination, we don't want to start. But after you've gotten a good start, you can say, okay, well, I've done this for 15 minutes. I can do 15 minutes more. Or I can make another 2 phone calls in 10 minutes, whatever that is. So either you've honored your commitment and you can stop after 15 minutes, or if you have the time and now you have the momentum, you can keep going.
I think that's perfect, Karyn, because I don't know. I think maybe you know that I'm a procrastinator somehow. You've intuited this, but you hit the nail on the head. I mean, half the time I will put something off because I know it's going to take me roughly 2 hours to do the whole thing, and I don't have 2 hours, and so I put it off. But maybe I could have gotten a sizable, But you're absolutely right. If I broke it down into 15-minute chunks, or at least started, maybe I'm wrong, and it doesn't take 2 hours, and I shock myself, and it only took me 25 minutes, right? So.
Exactly.
This is very good advice for people like me who like to put things off. And, when we do our behind the episodes scene, Chris will be here to be nodding and saying, yep, that's pretty much what Mark does. So excellent stuff. So, Karyn, let's talk a little bit about your next point, which is start where you are. I mean, what do you mean by that? How does that help? How do you work with clients with this concept here?
Another reason people don't start is because they want to wait for a better time. They want to wait until I can't start working out now. It's too cold. I have to wait till it's springtime. I have to start when the stars are in perfect alignment.
There you go. When Saturn is retrograde, do whatever. Yeah.
Or the other thing is, and I face this challenge myself with my weight. I remember when I used to be this big. And it's like, if I have to start from here, it's going to take me so much longer. I'm only going to lose a pound or 2 a week, and da-da-da-da-da.
Why bother, right? That's that mindset.
Right, but you have to start where you are.
Mm-hmm.
You have to start where you are because that's the only place you are.
Exactly. That's the only place that you can do anything, right?
And you have to get over those initial things. Doing something small is better than doing nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, I can think back to the time when I used to do back-to-back aerobics classes, and I was cute little petite thing. Those days are gone.
Uh-huh.
So I need to just accept that. And I was at 9 round doing kickboxing, and they were like, "Oh, the next round, do this." I'm like, I need the fat girl discount. I need the fat girl discount. But I'm starting somewhere. And it might not be where I used to be, but it's never going to get any better until I start doing something.
I love that, yeah.
if you start small. I can't run 5 miles, maybe. I can't save, I don't have $1,000 in the bank. All I can put aside is 10. But if you put that 10 aside every week, by the end of the year, you'll be halfway to your $1,000. So you have to start somewhere. And it's better to start small, as I said, than not to start at all.
Isn't that such a weird quirk of us as human beings, right? We're always looking for the big action or the quick fix, or, you know, we're so seduced by those lines, you know, drop 20 pounds in a weekend without having to change your lifestyle whatsoever, right? I mean, it doesn't work, right? I mean, but we want it to work, right? Whereas you're so right. Everything, you know, is small actions repeated, and if you had a small action repeated and repeated and repeated, you actually get somewhere. I mean, people have often been awestruck when they're sitting on the edge of the Grand Canyon and realizing, how do you create the Grand Canyon? Well, you know, a gazillion years of water running by, right? I mean, it's not a big action.
And you talked about your 2 hours. I can't do anything in 2 hours. That's another thing that stops people. Start small. Do something for 15 minutes. Do something for a half hour. And you'll be ahead of the game than you would be if you never started.
Absolutely. I love that. So we got the 15-minute rule, you know, that gets us going. This also gets us going by just, you know, don't worry about the ideal moment to start doing something. The ideal moment is right now. Just do that 15 minutes in the here and now, right? Well, let's move forward then to, I love this line. I'm looking forward to learning what you're saying here. Have a plan, which is already good advice because a lot of people don't even have a plan, but have a plan B. Tell me about this.
Most people, the overwhelming majority of people who set New Year's resolutions do not accomplish them. And I believe that a lot of their lack of accomplishment comes from starting good, but then something happens. I was going to the gym every morning, but then I got a little flu bug and I was out a couple days, or I was doing really good on my diet, then those people worked my nerves, and then I had to go eat some fried food, and now I'm off. Whatever happens, something derails you. And people get discouraged when they get derailed. And in my other Get It Together Girl workbook, I have one on goal setting. One of the things I tell people at the end in my little Get Real section is you're going to fail. And that's not me being discouraging. It's not me being pessimistic. It's me being realistic. There's going to be a time when you eat that extra slice of pizza or that Krispy Kreme donut. There's going to be times when you get stressed and maybe you do take a couple puffs off a cigarette. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So what are you going to do to get yourself back together, to get back on the horse? That's where the plan B comes in. Because you had a great plan, but now you kind of fell off course. So that plan B gets you back on course, and it's things that you do. It might be people you speak to, and it could be things you say to yourself to get you back on track. But whatever that is, that's your plan B.
That is excellent. I love that because you're so right. I mean, you know, when we set out to have that New Year's resolution, in our mind we're seeking perfection, right? And the minute we go off, because we're not perfect, we say, I'm done with the whole plan. I'm just going to go back to my Ben & Jerry's diet, right?
Right, but if you look at anything you've accomplished, if you look back at it, it wasn't perfect. You know, you finished school, but you didn't ace every test.
Right.
You know, you might have a successful marriage or relationship, but that doesn't mean that you don't argue, that person doesn't get on your nerves sometimes. It's just the way of things. In our minds, we expect perfection, although nothing, even things that work, are never perfect.
Right. And the truth is, we learn more from falling down than we do from being perfect, right? I mean, it's
exactly.
They're often painful lessons, but incredibly important. They move us forward. If you have the plan B, though, that's why I love that. Is, have the plan, but plan for that step you're going to take to get yourself back in the saddle when you fall off, because that has to be part of your plan. That's terrific.
Yep.
Well, Karyn, I can see that people really should be getting in touch with you because they have a lot to learn from you. These are great bits of wisdom, and I can see how they're starting to fit together into a much larger picture. And I think there's way more than these 3 bullet points, I'm going to guess. Is that correct?
Yes, there is.
But let me just recap what we've been talking about today. So this is about, go on and get it together. There's a theme here, and we've been talking about the idea of the Focus 15 and ending procrastination. We've talked about the idea of starting right where you are so that you get moving and you don't start waiting for this ideal moment to come along when you're going to actually start. And then have a plan, but have this plan B for when you fall off the wagon. How do you get back on the wagon and get right back on track and not derail the entire project? So this is great stuff. So Karyn, I want to tell people how they can get in touch with you because I think you have a ton of great stuff to offer. You have a really cool project that you're in the middle of working on that I want to tell people about. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm so
No, please. Go ahead. Be excited.
But one of the things that I've done with Get It Together Girl is I've developed a series of workbooks to help people get it together. So I've covered organizing your home in 15 minutes a day. I've covered time management, holistic goal setting. But the 4th book is the one that I'm most excited about, and it's called Get It Together Girl. It's about the money, honey. And it's all about a month's worth of things you can do to add more money to the end of your month, let's just say. And it goes through everything from levelizing your utilities so that you know how much is coming out every month to using gift cards to help you budget. If you know you're going to spend $50 on shoes and you know you like to shop at DSW, then get a $50 gift card for DSW. And when that money is gone, you've exhausted that much of your budget.
Excellent.
There's a story I tell that I was out of work for about 9 months. And when I got back to work, it takes time to catch up with all your expenses. And I used to run out of gas every Thursday before payday. And it happened so much that AAA sent me a letter and said, hey, don't call us anymore. You run out of gas. I didn't know they did that, but they did. And that's when I found out about the gift cards, because what would happen is I would set aside money for gas, and then my girlfriend Kara would call me and she'd be like, girl, let's go out to dinner. I'd be like, I can't afford it. But then I would take my gas money and go. So when I needed gas, that money wasn't there. So I ended up, when I would fill up my gas, I would go into the store and get a gift card for gas. I can't spend that on anything but gas. And I put it in my glove box. So when I needed it, it was there. And so gift cards are something that you can really be a tool, a gift to yourself to help you budget. And so I really believe in this book and what it can do for people. And in the past, I've used free publicity and marketing tools, and I've sold a modest number of books, but I want to get this book into the hands of more people. So I've started a Pub Slush campaign, which is crowdfunding for authors, to help me raise money to promote and publicize the book. And you can find it at moneyhoney.pubslush.com. So
excellent.
Moneyhoney.pubslush. Pub, where you go to have a beer. Slush, that stuff that gets under your car if you're up north and it's snowing all the time.
That's right.
pubslush.com. Money Honey.
We've got it up on screen for folks. Karyn, yes, I'm going to really encourage people to go there and support Karyn's project because clearly she's got great wisdom to share with people. If you're looking to get it together, girl, she's got the entire series, and this is just the newest one that she's working on for you to help her work on. Is all good stuff.
And the campaign actually doesn't start till April 3rd.
Okay.
But if you go to the site, there's a button that asks you to become a fan.
Okay.
And all you have to do is enter your email address, and you'll know when the campaign goes live.
Excellent.
There's tons of, you're not just giving me money. You're receiving something for it. You can get a copy of the book. You can get an autographed copy from me. You can. I've got tons of rewards for people who contribute to the campaign.
There you go. So it's a win-win proposition. So head over to moneyhoney.pubslush.com. Get connected with Karyn and her project there. Karyn, this has been terrific having you as our guest expert today on Expert Showcase.
It's been great.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mark.
And another great Expert Showcase episode. Chris, what should people do right now?
Yeah, if you're watching this and you're a coach or consultant, imagine what it would do for you and your business if you were a guest on Experts Showcase. And here's the best part. Other than possibly increasing your business, an appearance on Expert Showcase is free. We give you a copy of your episode so you can use as marketing collateral, and we give you a coaching session to go along with it to tell you how you can best market your episode and other tips and tricks about your business. So what you want to do is head on over to expertshowcase.com, click on the big yellow apply button, and apply to be our next featured guest on the Expert Showcase. Now, if you're a coach or consultant and you've already imagined what having your own internet talk show will do for you, then we want you to head to VideoContent.Agency and check us out, check our packages out, and get in contact with us. Let's see if we're a good fit, and let's see if we're the ones to produce you and make you the next star and have your own internet talk show. And until next time, Mark, anything else?
I couldn't have said it any better, so just do what he said.